There are a couple of reasons why Prime Minister Andrew Holness has earned my admiration and support. Uh, Chief among them, his handling of the economy, the massive expenditure of public funds in upgrading the country's infrastructure, and among other things created to enhance employment for young people. But none more than his approach towards crime in the latter part of his second term. Crime impoverishes everybody except those who are directly involved or those who are benefiting from it. Crime is a cancer that has to be eradicated. Now, we're not going to get rid of crime as long as there are human beings involved, but we can mitigate the amount of homicides that there are, and we can by putting away violent offenders. And so his approach to crime, and he is still a little bit naive in thinking that ZOSOs and SOEs are the reasons behind the drop in homicides. I hope he'll finally come around eventually to recognizing that that's not the reason why. Those are not the reasons why crime has dropped, violent crime has dropped. It is because of the sentencing, the changes that has been made in the sentencing or the sentences for violent offenders who would commit homicides. That's what has caused crime to go down. It's not going to end homicides, but it'll give people who would engage therein pause. That's the issue. For some Jamaicans who have this predisposition to wanting to feel sorry for people who commit homicides, I will say this. I understand it takes all kind of people to make a world, and some of you are some of the weird people that I can't understand, who would say that sentences are excessive. We're not talking about excessive sentence for somebody who goes steal some hockey off a tree or go steal somebody's yam out of a hill. We're talking about somebody who premeditatedly decides to take the life of another person for some reason or whatever. Nobody forces anybody to engage in that kind of actions, those kinds of actions. And so those people who have that predisposition to engage in those kinds of activities must know that when you do it, you must understand what the consequences are. And for those of you who believe that some sentences are excessive, you are not a part of the solution to the issues in our country or the problems in our country. You're part of the problem. And I find, again, I hate to keep talking about PNP, JLP, but I find that the People's National Party and its functionaries, those people who offered themselves for leadership, especially some of the brain dead mental midgets in the PNP who would want to have for us to hold the hands of violent murderers. Let it be understood that you are part of the problem. Nobody encourages, nobody holds anybody's hands, nobody forces anybody to go and commit homicide. And if it happens, those people who engage in that kind of actions must also be rooted out, especially when it comes to unaliving people for hire. Those people must be rooted out of our society as well. So no, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with your party. And I stand side by side with the Prime Minister in his steadfast actions to ensure that if you take the life of a person, you're going to jail and you're not coming back out for the best part, the greater part of your natural life. Yeah? And by the time you come out, you can be no more danger to the society. Thank you for that, Mr. Prime Minister. We need that. This is why Jamaica dodged a serious bullet when it did not elect Mark Jefferson Golding to office, and a bunch of criminals and in the PNP. Yes, criminals in the PNP who are now sitting in our sacred parliament. Yes, the criminals and the duns nincompoops. Yes, we don't want them in our country. We don't want them to have no kind of power. Let if since there are some people who are stupid enough to elect them, let them sit on the sidelines. Let them sit in perpetual opposition. That's the way it should be.